want to select the whole thing, assign it with the white, and basically just select every second one and make the flat orange. So just bear with me here as we go along. All of these. So you probably use the circle select, it's probably easier. There we go, just like that. And I just want to make these the orange, the flat orange. So by our geometry, this should work out perfectly. There we go, great. Okay, flat orange assign. Cool. And one final thing, I'm just gonna add an edge loop right in the middle of each one, each ring. Select that edge loop. I probably want to make this a little bigger too. I'll pull that out a little more. Could actually work just like this. Yeah, so you can see how we can make some arrows. So if you're on the top view, you can just hit R and rotate them. Or you could change to your 3D cursor pivot point, right? And go RZ, and it'll do the same. Maybe even the 3D cursor doesn't need... The median point is technically the same place as the 3D cursor. These are flat. Yeah, so just rotate those a touch and see what you like. I think I'm going to go with that. Maybe that's a little much. Let's go with that. Yeah. So these will be spinning the way you see them. Maybe we'll make the middle one go the other way. There we go. That's fun. Okay. Yeah, so I want to increase the size of my outer level here. I'm just going to select both of these objects. Just select the whole thing. Make your circle select nice and big. And just middle click that. Okay. I also don't want any of this. So it looks like maybe we could use a mirror modifier, but not on the revolving platforms, because if you notice, this is not mirrored at all. It's just it's directional. It's moving in one direction. So if you mirrored it, they would be facing each other. The directions would be, right? All right, so I just want to hit S and Shift Z. S, Shift Z, and just make it around the same size as the other two. So I can just take this and scale that as well until it's somewhere in the middle again. If you wanted to, you can just hit X, dissolve edges, and put a new one there. Rotate. Right, same thing, all good. So the next thing we need to do is separate these objects. Let's extrude them too. Let's select the whole thing in these platforms here, E and Z. Sorry, not Z. Or you can hit Z again just to get the snap back. Okay, I want to come down just a tiny bit, and then E and Z. Whoops. Make sure it's snapped to the Z axis when you're hitting Z there. That's all I'm trying to do. GZ, maybe I'll move these down a little bit more. There we go. That'll be good. Okay. So let's separate these now. Well, let's Shift N, recalculate normals, just in case we extruded in the wrong direction there. Never know. Let's separate this by selection, and let's separate that by selection. So now we have this one, right? So if we spin this in the game, this is what it'll do. And we can parent our character to this object, meaning he will rotate with it. So if you don't do that, it might be hard to picture, but if you don't do that parenting script, which we will do for, you need it for platformers basically. If you're gonna step on a platform that's moving, you need to parent your character to it so that the character acts as if he's standing on something that's moving. Otherwise, he's just gonna slip right off, and the object's gonna move, and the character won't. So that's a useful trick. If you have a player controller that determines your movement and determines your position in the world, you can actually use parenting to platforms. So now that these are separate objects, let's go in. Let's say A. Let's go Object, Set Origin, Origin to Geometry. Let's do that to each one, just so that it's on the right Y-axis. Set Origin, Origin to Geometry. Good. Set Origin, Origin to Geometry. You know, we should probably apply the scale. Yeah, and we'll go Origin, Set Origin, Origin to Geometry. And we'll see if that did it to all of them. Oh, it did. Amazing. Thank you, Blender. Thank you, Blender. Okay, so we have this. Now we can create a boulder rotating on this piece right here. Let's do Origin to Geometry on this as well. So it comes up. Okay, yeah, so there'll be a boulder that can hurt us, kill us. We'll put water here, and we'll have some platforms rotating around it. Maybe we'll make a log or something like Frogger. And then all I want to do at the edge here is place a few places for the player to jump off and try and get to, but possibly fail. I think that'll be fun. So let's do something similar to this. Let's just do a cylinder. I want to do nothing on the faces, and I'll do 16 with geometry. Okay, so I'll just place, maybe this one's going to be right here. These are floating platforms. We'll also create a little skybox for ourselves so that we have a surrounding rather than just the Unity blue. Okay, so I want these to be, so if he jumps, he should make that, right? Also need him to be able to fall between. Let's try this. Let's see if the player will make it. And just like all our other edits, we can easily come back into this and change anything we want. And it'll just update Unity for us. So I think I want this to be, maybe this will be the win platform. So if he wants to record his high score, he's done with his session. This game doesn't have a huge point, by the way, if anyone's wondering. I'll make an introduction video when this is all complete, and I'll explain that I just kind of went through this to show people different tricks and get them using the program. I didn't actually have anything in mind when I went at this. Okay, so I think I just want to extrude GZ, and let's just make that a little tiny slope. Just a tiny slope. Okay, we can do Control B, we can bevel this like that, take the middle one, drop it down a bit. Okay, that'll give us a cool effect with that. Let's shade smooth this. Could have used probably more geometry on this one. It's okay. I'll go, no, we don't want to subdivide that way. Just do this. If you want. I'm preferring a little bit more geometry here. Okay, and just to tick, go 2 sphere on each circle individually to turn those into a smoother circle. Okay, and it'll remember your search, which is awesome. And just flex that 100%. There we go. That's one method to increase your triangle count. Something round. Okay, so we got that. Let's pull this down a little. No, we don't want that, do we? No, actually, we don't want that too low because the player will dip in it. Okay, let's extrude this again. Come in, and maybe we'll make this. Yeah, we'll make this one of those orange lips. Okay, extrude, and this will be just flat. Okay, we'll shade this all flat. Cool, we can do the same thing here. Shade flat. Okay, so let's color code this one. So I think I'll just take the flat black first. I'll do the smooth black here. Okay, and we'll have a little particle effect coming from there to tell the player that he's got it. Now you can make a bunch of different platforms here if you want for the player to have to jump and make it, but this will work for me. I'm good with this. Let's Control B, bevel this. Only 2. I want to E to extrude again, just in case the player possibly falls and then looks up and goes, "What the?" Right? Don't want that. Okay, so I think that's good. Oh, I was going to do something here with this, right? Okay, let's double that ring. Let's double that ring and just make this a little bit annoying. Why not? G and Z, and just come up the tiniest bit. All right, I want to select these 3 rings and these 3 rings. But also just mark your seams and do that again. I'll make this that bright orange. Okay. There's where the player has to go to finish. We'll just have a big stack of crates right here. Let's add another one of these over to restart. So why don't we just take this, let's go into UV editing. Let's say Smart UV Project. Okay, because I do not care. I'm not going to use a texture. I'm only going to use these colors. So the mapping won't matter. Okay, so just Smart UV Project. You can quickly throw a UV map basically, if you don't really care about it. I don't recommend using that on something you're going to paint or use seamless textures on. It breaks up the islands too much. Honestly, I've tried so many different settings and parameters to make that work practically and nicely, but all in all, I only recommend using that if you really don't care about the UV map. All right, let's do the same thing on here. Select the whole thing. Go UV editing, UV, oh sorry, over here U, Smart UV project. 66 degrees is probably the best thing to use. I think that's why it's default. Whoops, can select the whole thing. Go UV pack islands and just change this to maybe 0.02. Okay, and just get a little bit better of a margin separation. Let's do the same thing over here. Cool. So that means it's scale applied. Okay, now we need to go, if we want to move this anywhere, maybe we want this to revolve around as well. That'd be funny. Let's do that. That'd be really hard. So let's go object, origin to geometry. Oh yeah, so if we used it, if we could left the origin where it was, we could revolve this around the level. Let's do that. But I'm going to use something else. I'll use a parent object in Unity to rotate that. So we'll just go origin to geometry. Okay, and we'll make that there. Just in case we do want to spin it this way, we can do that then. Alright, so I guess I'll do one more where the player begins.